everyone. I think we're live now. Sorry, I was just talking to basically an empty room for a second there. Welcome to another Clay at Home Live. Sound off in the comments if you're here so I can say hi to you. And welcome anyone who's watching. So as per usual, we're going to start off today with talking about something from my collection. So I have, this is a candle holder. I got from, you might know the artist, her name is Corinne Kula, and she's our wonderful tech at the Clay Studio, and this is, like, I absolutely adore this thing. So it fits like a cute little candle quite easily. I don't really know exactly what I should do with this outer space, but I like it all the same. So you can see, I'm trying to get in closer to see the details without without it getting all blurry and out of focus, but like there's this super just delicate and beautiful ribbon of porcelain, I think, and I think it's just like a beautiful contrast to like the darker stoneware. She can correct me if she's here if I'm wrong, but I believe this is $2.59 clay, and yeah, it's just wonderful. Alright, so let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my setup working correctly here. If someone in that's here can just say that they're here, so I know I'm not just talking to no one, that would be super. Oh, hi, Chuck. Okay, great. All right, at least Chuck is here, so now I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. That's fantastic. All right, so today, there's been a slight programming change. I was going to play some like clay Jeopardy with ceramics Jeopardy with everyone, but I unfortunately ran out of time while preparing. So I've switched gears a little bit, and instead I'm gonna talk to you guys about some of the games that I've been playing at home, and then also, I mean, they're like recommendations if you don't have any of them. I have a bunch of, so we're like a household of 2 right now, so I have a bunch of 2-player games, and then also, if you do have a larger house or if you have kids or something, I have some other recommendations too. So we'll start out with a super easy, this is a card game. It's called Dutch Blitz, so it's like it's a Pennsylvania Dutch game. It's really cute. I thoroughly enjoy, like, the card design is very beautiful. Let's see. Oh, here's like the little Dutch girl. And then the backs are, there are 4 different suits per pack, basically. And the way this game is played is essentially you're trying to collect stacks of 10 cards, in number order, and they have to be the same color too. So it's like a little bit like Uno. It's a super fun game. It's easy to play and learn, and it's kind of like a Egyptian rat screw if you've ever played that. And it is like a reflex game. Like, you have to be fast and be paying attention to like the numbers and the colors and keeping everything on track. And so I think you can play it with 2 people. I think it's the most fun if you have at least 4 people. There's like a second pack you can get like with different suits on them, so you can play with up to 8 people. But that's a really fun one. If you've never played it before. Another game, this is like a weird little branded game. It's like a Rick and Morty game. This is like a hidden role game where you're trying to figure out who is a parasite and who's not. It expands. It gets, every round that you don't like come to a consensus and end the game, it gets like harder and harder to win, which is, I think, is fun. So you're like battling like the clock and each other essentially. Other 2-player games I have here, this is Rivals for Catan. So if you've played regular Settlers of Catan, it is like you have to have at least 3 people to play it, I believe. So this is a strictly 2-player game. It's very fun. So you guys are basically like dukes or duchesses of your kingdom, and you're trying to just like build up your army or your resources to get to it's always victory points with Catan games. So I highly suggest that one. That's a lot of fun to play with 2 people. It's not too hard to learn the rules, but if you don't have the vocabulary from Settlers of Catan, it might be a little difficult. Like, there's a bit of a learning curve with that one, but it shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, I'm just ripping through these, aren't I? But I've got some other ones too coming up. So that will take a little longer just to explain. Hi Karen. Hi, welcome. So this is a really, really cute game. It's called Kodama. And in this game is like a much more, like, a lot of the games are very competitive, and while this one does have like a winner and loser, it's a lot more, I would call it a lot more like peaceful of a game. You're essentially you start out as like a hi Drew. Hi Karen. You start out as like a little tree stump, and as you go, you're trying to grow your tree out. So you know, like, and there are rules, like it can't go off the table, and like all the branches have to connect, but you're essentially just trying to grow out your tree, and you get more and more points for every like concentric branch you got. So this is a really cute one. This one can be played with I think it's 2 players minimum, 5 players maximum. So they're like 5 tree trunks, and so this one's a really cute one to play. You also have like these little spirit cards that will, like, they have like goals for you to accomplish essentially. I'm trying to grab one out of the box. Trying to see. Yeah, here we go. And the other great thing about this game, specifically if you are playing with kids, is that it does have like kid goal. Like, there's like cards to play with kids. So like, there are little kid goals, and then there are like there's like the adult, more complicated goals. So these are like an example of the little tree spirits you can have to live on your tree. So that's like a super cute, wholesome game. And it's like an indie game, so you can't find it everywhere, but I think Barnes and Noble and Amazon carry it. So it's Kodama. Highly recommend it. This is my newest board game in my collection, and also these are not all my board games. I have a lot more. This is like a select few that I thought people might not have heard of. So this was my newest one, called Evolution. You can play this with 2 people minimum, 6 people maximum. If you have 6 people in your house right now, that's wild. But this is a really fun game where you're essentially you have different like species, and you give them different. You can have up to 3 different like traits, and so you're just trying to outcompete everyone else at the watering hole essentially. So it's kind of like the game of evolution, like the game of life. So so I think this is a really cute, fun game. I also just really like the art direction on it. Like, I think that's like a beautiful, I don't know, it's a beautiful lizard. I'm really into that lizard. We're moving into now games that you might need more people for. Mysterium actually is a 2-person to 7-person game. It's a lot more fun, I think, with more people, but you know, you do what you have to. I bet you could adapt this to play it. I bet you could adapt this to play it like via Zoom or something, but I just haven't thought about it too hard. So sorry, that box made a wild noise. So in this game, now these are my games that get like a lot more complicated, and I'm super into complicated games with like a lot of rules to follow. And this game, essentially, there's one person plays as a ghost, a silent ghost. Ghosts can't talk, and other people play as psychics, and they're trying to figure out the cause of this the ghost, like who murdered the ghost and how. So it's like kind of like Clue in that you're trying to find a person, a weapon, in a location, but it's unlike Clue in that this might be like the location card that matches your scenario, and the ghost can't communicate to you via words. They can only send you psychic visions. So, you know, they might so like out of the 7 cards I just drew, like they might give you a vision that looks like this, and somehow you have to figure out how the ghost is trying to talk to you, and you have to figure out how they were murdered. So that's a really fun, that's a really fun abstract, strange game to play. Could you play it remotely? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about it too hard yet, but if I can figure out how to, I will be playing it remotely because it's probably one of my most favoriteest games. This is one of my favorite games, but my absolute favorite game has to be, of all time, has to be Betrayal in the House on the Hill. So it's another spooky mansion kind of game. And in this game, you're essentially a bunch of explorers trying to explore a mansion. You do need at least 3 people to play this. One of you will become the betrayer at a certain point. So once you trigger a haunting in this mansion, one of you turns into like a ghost or a vampire or something and tries to kill everyone else in the house while everyone else tries to escape. So that's the basic premise of that game. This one has a serious learning curve to it. I think way more than the other games do. But if you've got time on your hands and you live in a house with at least 3 people, I would go ahead and get this and learn how to play it, because it has, the basic game has over 50 different like end games. So like there are 50 different, like every game starts out the same as you explore the house, and then once the haunt is triggered, there's 50 different scenarios that you could trigger based on the combination of like the omen that you find and the room you trigger it in. So so that's like a super like there's like almost, I've never played through I have yet to play through all the scenarios. You can play it over and over again. And yeah, and so that's kind of like so these are some of my suggestions for board games. I also thought I would mention, if you don't play Magic the Gathering, but you're ever interested in it, now is probably the time to start. You have plenty to do. So, this is just a trading card game. You can get pre-made decks online, for pretty cheap, and, you get, I believe Wizard of the Coast sells like a 2-pack that's like 2 different decks, so you can play them together. Well, Karen's laughing and I don't know why. So you can go ahead and just like learn how to play. And then when we're all back together in the studio, you can challenge me. I will tell you, you will probably lose, because I'm a very good Magic the Gathering player. And then the other thing, I guess you could, there are infinite dice games. If you get really, really, super desperate, you can play Yahtzee. If you haven't played Farkle, you should look up Farkle. Now it's the time to learn. Yeah, it is time to learn Magic. Either Ritual Magic or Magic the Gathering, the card game. The other thing that's really fun are role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and Cyberpunk 2020 and things like that. So if you have any questions on that, we should probably just talk off of stream. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different role-playing games. I'm probably gonna set something up at some point. And there's different sites and different ways you can do all that stuff remotely too. So that's those are my suggestions for occupying time. Especially I find the weekends I'm like, what am I supposed to do? If I don't have work to do, what am I supposed to do? Okay, Karen's asking what Punk and Wizard are currently, this is their witching hour. They're currently zooming back and forth, chasing each other, being general jerks to each other, and destroying my house, which they know that, at this time, from 4 to 4:30, they can basically get away with anything, because I'm stuck, right in it within this frame. So they're like, oh, the rest of our house is ours. Oh, Chuck says it's a very long time since D&D. Chuck, start reading up on 5e. You can find, if you make a free D20 account, um, you can they'll give you the whole 5e rulebook, like online. But there's also Pathfinder, which is basically the same as D&D, but it's free. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I can find some interest, I might do a. Maybe we can do a ceramics Dungeons and Dragons homebrew. Yeah, D20, Chuck. I can drop it in the. This will be the weirdest official like comment from a. From a like a. You know, or not. I'm sorry, not D20. It's Roll20. So this is a. I'll drop it into the description. This Roll20 is essentially. So it's like you can make a free account and basically, I mean, it's how you can play remotely. So people before the pandemic were definitely playing Dungeons and Dragons remotely with D20 with just like people that are really good DMs and stuff. I know there are some people out there that actually get paid to be dungeon masters because they're literally that good at being dungeon masters, and honestly, sometimes the nerds around you aren't fun enough to play Dungeons and Dragons with. So you have to go to the internet for more for more creative nerds to play Dungeons and Dragons with. But yeah, so that's I didn't really do a review of any of those games. I guess I give basically all of them 4.5 stars. Except for Betrayal gets 5 stars. It's my favorite board game ever. Oh, my cats are currently destroying my house slowly but surely. I can't lure one of them over here. They're like too wild right now. I don't know what Chuck is laughing at. Probably me. Oh, and before I forget, I did also want to just like show off and brag for a second. I don't know what you guys have been doing like baking wise or anything, but it's been a project of mine now for a little bit to make some like cookies that look like citrus slices, and I finally succeeded. I made I'm trying to hold them up for the camera. Maybe I should just hold up one. I made cookies that look like limes, little lime slices, little lime citrus slices. They're also flavored, like citrus. It would be super weird if they were like not citrus flavored, cookies because they look like citrus. But yeah, I made these, for the first. Yeah, thank you, Chuck. This was not the first attempt at these. I will tell you that much. And I just need to improve my technique a little bit. Like finally the colors and stuff look right, but you can see there's like a hole in the middle of a lot of them, so they're pinholing. And that's just from not rolling them perfectly. Yeah, so actually the way I made them was very much like you would make like extruded, like if you were gonna make like mass produce like extruded little necklaces or something like that, or I feel like if you work with Sculpey, like a lot of my techniques would have been very much like very common. Or what else? Oh, it's like how you make like this crazy decorative candies too. So basically, like I had the 3 different colored doughs and like rolled them and shaped them and then built the citrus slice and then rolled it and compressed it. Obviously not good enough though, because I still got the pinholing. And yeah, Karen's laughing at my use of pinhole. Yeah, I mean, here this is a particularly bad one. That would not hold water if it was a pot. Oh well. But yeah, and so the edges have like a lot more lime zest where the zest would be, and the whole thing is flavored with lime juice. So whenever this is my big plan for whenever we can do the Clay Mobile bake sale. I'm definitely gonna be pumping up a lot of like lemons and oranges and lime cookies now that I've successfully made them. Oh, Chuck, what is that word you put in the chat? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that word is. I've never seen it before. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's that. I had never known it. I guess I should have assumed it had a name. I just didn't know what it was. Wow, yeah. I just like Google imaged it. It looks really nice. Yeah, exactly. That's what I did, but with cookie dough. Um, they're not, also the other thing about these cookies is they're not particularly good for you. I mean, no cookie is, but the dough I made used a whole like cup of butter. That's 2 sticks of butter in them, but that's what keep that kind of, it's like low moisture and they like hold their shape really well. So it's hashtag worth it. All right, yeah. Does anyone have any questions or want to share? Um, Anything they've done this week before? I know it's a short one, but I've run out of things. I've got too excited about the board games. I talk too fast about them, so I've run out of a lot of content. Karen asked, "Can I airmail the cookies to you?" I can try. Oh, yeah. You know what, Karen? That's a good point. It's just you, me, Chuck, Drew. Where is Emma? I don't know. I think Corinne is watching though, from the shadows. Oh, there's Corinne. So I'll tell you all right now because you're here. Next week we're gonna be doing Clay Studio Trivia, or Jeopardy rather. I haven't decided if it's gonna be ceramics in general or Clay Studio specific Jeopardy, but we will be doing Jeopardy with a board. So get ready for that. Study up. Tell your friends. The more people that participate, the better, if you ask me. Chuck asks, curious if anyone is working at the studio yet. I don't know because I've not been out of my house since like March, I want to say March 23rd or something like that. I think people have been back to the studio. I'm pretty sure at least a few people have. I know that we have like a sign up thing happening with the associates. There's like a reunion of the Karens and Corinnes in the in the chat. I'm just like watching it happen. Oh man. Karen said Corinne's name out loud to no one, and hey, guess what? I have been doing that basically nonstop, even when I'm not in front of a microphone for the express purpose of talking to people. Like sometimes when Corinne Google Hangouts with me, I'll be like, "Oh, hi, Corinne," and I'll be like, "Wait, nope, she can't hear that." I think that's just a symptom of like being inside for so long. It's addling my brain. But it's okay, you know. We'll get through it. Oh man. Also, my cats have been very like. My cats have always looked at me strangely, Karen, but now seems to be worse than normal. Now they look at me with like kind of half like they might try to eat me if I fall asleep on the couch, and then half like and then half like you've lost it, and I can tell, and I'm a cat. Yeah, hashtag stay at home, talk to yourself. That's gonna can you imagine? Well, the thing is, I've never felt alone staying at home because I've always talked to myself, so it's like nothing out of the ordinary for me. So, you know, whatever. Alright, I think we are going to wrap up now, though. Mostly just because I went way too fast talking about, I love board games and card games so much. I warned my roommate that I was going to start talking about these and that we were gonna have to play play a board game later because once I get in the mood, I'm like insatiable. Like I need to play a board game. So I'll let you guys know how that went. But for today's song, I picked something that I didn't think I would ever play or sing out loud, but it does have a really good like harmony. So Karen's use Karen, can I just say your use of emojis is amazing. Anywho, it does have a great harmony to sing along to, so that's why I chose it. And oh yeah, I should say what the song is so that you guys can look up the lyrics if you need to. You should know the lyrics of this by heart because it's gonna be Hotel California by the Eagles. Now, I'm not a huge Eagles fan. When I was a kid, I hated the Eagles, and I think that's because every song had like a false start. Like it would start, and then stop for a second, and you're like, words, and then it would just go again with like another self-indulgent like guitar picking session. So I was not a huge fan of the Eagles growing up, but I have grown to like them quite a bit. Emojis are easier than typing, I feel that. So, you know, this one's got some nice, sweet harmony, so feel free. This is a great time to practice hashtag stay home, talk to yourself. Stay home, sing to yourself. Gather everyone around. It's time to go, alright? Gotta get the, like, chord progression in my head. Desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle, and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Was Tiffany twisted? She got the Mercedes-Benz. She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys she calls friends. How they danced in the courtyard, sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. I called up the captain, please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969. And still those voices are calling from far away. Make you up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. To live in a better And in the master's chambers they gathered for the feast, stabbed it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man, we are programmed to receive. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. Alright. So there you go. You know, the first time for anything, including singing and playing an Eagles song for a live stream. Alright everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to say bye to everyone that I see in the comments. So, here we go. Bye Karen. Bye Chuck. Bye Corinne. Oh yeah, Corinne's here. Out of the shadows. Bye Drew. And am I missing anyone? Is it just a couple of us? Sorry if I missed you. Or if you're watching but you didn't say anything. I don't know you're here. Yeah. I will see you all next week. Spread the word. We are going to be doing Jeopardy. I haven't decided if there'll be a prize yet. It won't be cash. This won't be like real Jeopardy. But practice the Jeopardy answer of like answering with a question. And oh, thanks Chuck. Chuck says be well. I also say be well. Bye everyone. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week.